same tinted lanes on the road. Tunes up, windows down, we're fading back to sleep. See its windshields and truck stops are all you get to see. Race cars, no minibar, just a shower and a bed. Kick drums and guitars still ringing in my head. Tired as hell, but still can't sleep 4 hours till sun up. Then it's Advil and Gatorade, and we're right back in the trunk. And I'm off to play Rockstar again, off to a place I've never been. Those neon lights and empty bars are just stepping stones to who you are. There's a good chance that I'll never be. Is this life a curse or some kind of dream? Maybe a game that I'll never win, but I'm off to play Rockstar again. It gives from me, it takes from me, and it's worse than any drug. It'll chew you up, it will spit you out until you finally had enough. But then you think you're done, you think it's gone, and it pulls you right back in. Cause you can't eat, you can't sleep until you're on that stage again. She said, give up, it's time to grow up. You don't have what it takes. You're a dreamer, not a real man, and it's time we make a change. But if a real man...
Taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And we are live on a Monday night, gonna burn it to the ground tonight. Welcome to the Full Velocity Network, everybody out there in YouTube land. Here tonight at the legendary Stafford Motor Speedway out in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the beautiful half mile. Hang out with our friends at the Full Throttle Sim Racing League for an awesome event here with the Super Late Model Series, the Steel Cage 125, powered by Rent a Racecar here live on Full Velocity Network. Thrilled to have everybody out there in YouTube land this evening. My name is Phil Lacasse, along with Todd Stanton, Joe Allen, and joined by Mr. David Schildhouse in the house here tonight. So we got a 4-man tag team event here tonight, and what better way to do that? Todd Stanton back to FTSR, the Super Late Models, the Steel Cage 175. Got to have some tag team partners here tonight, and happy to have you alongside.
Definitely some tag team partners, and I've been waiting for an event back here in the iRacing stables, especially with these FTSR guys. It's going to be a fantastic event. Last time we were here live on the Full Velocity Network, we had a fantastic show by these guys, and they put on one whale of a show. So I can't wait. Schildhouse is in the booth with us here tonight. I can't believe the champ has decided to join us here in the iRacing stable. So, David, how glad are you to be with us here this evening?
Buddy, I am thrilled to be up here in the booth for this iRacing event. My third time here on the Full Velocity Network with you guys, but my first time doing an iRacing event. iRacing is a great product. We all know that, and it's the future, at least for me and many others, as those that dabbled in other racing sims have come over here. But it's an honor and a blast to be here. I'm looking forward to seeing these boys put on one whale of a show here at this short track.
No, it's going to be an awesome, awesome night here. 175 laps around the famous half mile. And Joe Allen, once again, coming back home to the Full Throttle Sim Racing League, man. Welcome home, and I think we're going to have an awesome show with these guys. Good to catch up with Brody and Paul and the entire cast of characters that make up FTSR.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's always fun to come home to a place that you know near and dear to your heart. As covered in our previous shows that we've done for these guys, this is my home league, and I'm super excited to come back here. We're on the air with these guys for 3 weeks coming up on Monday nights. We have the 2 super late model races tonight and then one next week. And then they debut their truck series 3 weeks from now at Talladega, and we're going to be on the air with those guys for that as well. So a lot of exciting things coming up for us here at the Full Velocity Network on the iRacing Stables, and I'm super excited to be here and can't wait to see what type of race these guys put on here later tonight.
Oh, it is going to be one fantastic race indeed there, Joe. And said we're here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, legendary racetrack up here in northern Connecticut. Beautiful half mile, home to the SK Modifieds. Some of the biggest legends of the sport have called Stafford home over the years. And of course, here with the Steel Cage 175, powered by Racecar, and something with the thrills of modern day technology. First time we're going to try this here as we bring you the ultimate esport experience tonight here live on Full Velocity. We are joined by the owner of Racecar, and that is our old friend, Mr. Gary Spinato. Gary, it is Phil LaCassa, Full Velocity, buddy. I know we're going to do this through the phone line, so hopefully Joe's connection's good. But how you doing here tonight, partner? Thanks for sponsoring the show, and really good to talk to you again. Tell us, our viewers out there who may not be familiar with Racecar, all the background of what the company is all about. I know we've talked a little about it in the past, but we want to hear it from you. So tell us all about Racecar and how guys can get involved. Apologize for a brief delay. So we're doing this with modern technology. Joe's going to try to do this. We're doing this over a Facebook live call. So unfortunately, Gary ain't able to get on the two-way communication with us. We're going to try to do this over the phone line. So Joe, we'll try again. We got Gary there? No, okay. We're going to try this again. Joe, just trying to iron this out on our end. We're in qualifying here for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League, and we'll see if I can't maybe do this on my end, try to get it to echo through while Joe's getting it. So, Gary, once again, thanks for joining us. Owned by the owner of Racecar, Gary Spinato. Give us some background about Racecar. I know it's a program that's been around the Stafford Motor Speedway for a long time, mainly focused in the dare stock division, the rookie division, they call it, the Stafford Motor Speedway. Give us some background of how Racecar came to be, and the history. There's been a lot of great drivers that come through that stable, and got the craft. There's try their craft firsthand behind the wheel of one of those race cars.
Still not hearing anything.
All right, me and took it over in 2011. We rent out the street stock style cars at Stafford Motor Speedway. We get all kinds of people from all walks of life. We've had sim racers, Ian Flash, Phil Jiggs, Josh Parker, and this weekend we actually had two women in the car, and they were raising money for the American Cancer Society. So, all in all this year we've had 14 renters, different renters. We had a couple top 10 finishes. And it was a good season all the way around.
Yeah, and it sounds like from hearing from Paul earlier on, of course, the Stafford Motor Speedway closed up shop for the 2017 season this weekend with the fall final out there. And I hear the Racecar guys, I believe Paul told me you guys had 8 race cars out there. That is a really impressive showing for you guys, and just shows the strength and just a cool product you guys are offering at Racecar.
We actually had 6 rental cars out there, and we were also running the late model division. We have 2 cars running that division. They are not rentals, though. It's just another division we run up there. So, yeah, we had 8 cars altogether.
Well, Gary Spinato, it is awesome to talk to you again. Once again, my friend, it's been many, many years I've done so personally, going all the way back to my days here, back in the 99 and 2000 season at Stafford. So really good to catch up here once again. Thank you so much for having Racecar be the presenting sponsor for this great event tonight. And I hope to talk to you again real soon there, bud. It's really good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you, too. Hear from you soon, buddy.
All right, that is Mr. Gary Spinato, guys, the owner of Racecar, and hope that came over okay, Todd and David. Hope everybody out there in YouTube land is able to hear that. Gary Spinato been around a long time, and that Racecar program for a guy like you, Todd, that I know has experience out on the dirt tracks, and a guy like David who probably has dreams of getting out on the racetrack. That Racecar program, that is a really cool program.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a really cool program. I would like to get involved in that one of these times if I ever could get my way up there. I've never been quoted an asphalt racer, but I've always raced on dirt here in the local tracks in the southern tier of New York. I would like to try my hand one of these times. Maybe not wreck it, but I'd like to try my hands one of these times at one of those cool rental race cars. It's awesome to have such a great sponsor like that here involved in the sim racing community.
No, it certainly is to thank Gary Spinano, all the guys who run a race car to come on board this evening. I hope to do a whole lot more work from them and, let everybody out there know how great the product is. And you can be a part of the racing here, especially if you live in the northeast part of the country, heading out to the famous Stafford Motor Speedway on a Friday night. They race all throughout from the months of April all the way down to the closing weeks here at the beginning of October. So a really cool program, but we're going to do 175 laps around the Stafford Motor Speedway tonight. It is race number 8 of 9. 2 races left in the series, and we're going to have them both here covered live, flag to flag on the Full Velocity Network. Brody Hanna coming in tonight with a 40-point cushion on Michael Blackner, Brandon Elder, Roy Schiavano, and Adam Edwards right at your top 5, but Todd, I believe these cars are already getting ready to take the grid. It is going to be a lightning fast night, like any night here in the iRacing world kind of is. So what do you say we dive straight to the starting lineup?
And now your starting lineup for the FTSR Steel Cage Racing 175, powered by Renner Racecar. Starting on the pole, driving the number 76, that's Royce Scarvano and his dancing partner to the outside. Driving the number 17, that's AJ Rogers.
And on the inside of row 2, it's the 94, that's Adam Maddox. And to his outside, in the 51, Brandon Elder.
Row number 3, we find the driver of car number 16. That is Adam Edwards. And to his outside, aboard the number 62, our point leader coming in, that's Brody Hanna.
Row number 4, starting in that 7th starting position, the winner last time we were on the Full Velocity Network. Driving the number 22, that's Michael Blackner and his dancing partner to the outside. Driving the number 6, that's Paul Strickland Jr.
And rounding out this field on the inside of row number 4 is going to be Richard Dempsey. To his outside, in the number 42, that's Ralph Jones. Phil, we got a small but capable field here tonight, and I think that's going to produce some great racing.
Oh, absolutely right, David. Couldn't agree more. 10 drivers strong here from the Stafford Motor Speedway. It is going to be one terrific, fantastic, and very fast night. So strap in, guys. Get ready for a wild ride we're going to take around the Stafford Motor Speedway. The beautiful half mile nestled in the state of Connecticut, home track to me, not exactly, tops in my home track, but Stafford, only about a 40-minute trip down the road, a place that, I've worked at once upon a time. I've seen hundreds of races over the years, and some of the best have won here at Stafford over the years. So we're going to see who's going to etch their name here in victory lane, iRacing style here for the very first time at the Stafford Speedway with the guys at Full Throttle Sim Racing and 175 laps around. That may seem like a long race, but when you guys see these late models out there at speed, they're going to get around this place at a tremendous clip here, Todd. And it's probably the first experience. I think you took a couple practice laps out there. Stafford's a really cool place to drive, a flat racetrack, but a place you can carry an awful lot of speed.
Definitely a cool place to be out on the track with. I didn't have a setup, so I failed to attempt to try to make it as fast as these guys are going. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. Green flags in the air. The loud pedal is down. Scarvano takes off to the early advantage, about 3 or 4 car lengths over the number 17 of AJ Rogers.
And the key to the Stafford Motor Speedway here is we got one car already up in the wall. That's the 51. That's Brandon Elder. He's had a rough go of it going down there. But the key to the Stafford Motor Speedway, and you're going to see these guys, you want to keep it on the bottom. That's the fast way around here. As Phil said, this is a flat racetrack. You got to keep it on the bottom. Somebody gets underneath of you, you're going to be going backwards.
You absolutely will go backwards, but so far it's Royce Schiavano out with the race lead. AJ Rogers going to nestle there in position number 2. Adam Maddox is going to bring the 54 up in that 3rd spot. We'll see if he can't make the charge. Looking for running room to the low side as they come off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway. They'll sweep off into turn number 1, all in single file, but all chasing Royce Schiavano there, Todd. The first time we came to FTRL, we were talking about a name, Royce Schiavano. He had won the first 3 races of the season. Unfortunately, when we went to Bristol with these guys, he was not part of the show, but he is here tonight, and he is loud and on the charge out with that lead in turn 1.
Yeah, showing off just a little bit of Scarvano, how fast he is here this evening in that number 76 machine. Brody Hanna right now running in that 3rd spot. I watched him make a nice pass on that number 16 of Adam Edwards for that 3rd spot. So Brody Hanna moving up into that 3rd spot.
There's some good racing here for the 2nd position, as you alluded to, and we got another battle brewing back a little bit further in the pack for around the 4th and 5th place. So these guys are trying to sort themselves out, get into a rhythm. It's still early on. We got a lot of laps to get underneath our belts here, but, you want to see what you got, see who's fast, and see who you can get around, because track position is key, because passing here ain't easy. Phil, I don't know about you, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
This racetrack is just terrific, and Royce Schiavano is just starting to check out from this field. A.J. Rogers trying to stay with him. Adam Maddox is third, but the race is for that fourth spot, as David said. Brody Hanna has it. He's got a mirrorful of Adam Edwards just trying to find running room. He's looked to the top side. He's looked to the low side. It's a different little racetrack there, Todd. Making laps out there, you're really going to set these corners up. They're really long, flat, sweeping corners. You can really, get a big rate of speed, but you really got to set up your passes on a flat track like this. And you see Adam, he's trying to do all he can do using that outside lane.
Yeah, Adam Edwards seems to be diamonding in the corner just a little bit, coming down to the bottom side. That number 16 machine he's diamonding down here. But it looks like Brody Hanna is able to pull off the corner just a little bit, where the 16 of Adam Edwards just a little bit faster in the middle portion of the corner. As you can see him just drive right up to the rear bumper of Hanna. But Hanna able to hold on, coming off the corner. He's able to power out of the corners. And that number 62 machine. So it's an interesting concept. These guys got two different lines coming down into this corner.
Yeah, I'm watching this 62, and he's running an interesting line. Sometimes he's cutting off down underneath that white line as he comes off a four to give himself a straighter exit. And as I watch him here going into one, he's entering down underneath the white line. So you can really sort of run all over there, but you don't want to get too far up out of that first lane. And I know we watched as Adam Edwards try to put him under attack here. But you got to be careful if you're the 62 running up that high. You can wear out that right front. You start to wear out that right front, you're going to have a very ill-handling race car, and this is a long race to have a car that's not turning.
Yeah, you're going to have tires out there when you get to about past lap 50. I think you'll really see tire wear start to play off here. We're watching the 62 of Brody Hanna. He's charging into the inches of that corner, Todd, sweeping up a little bit. He's almost diamonding the corner, if you will. He's driving into the low side. He sweeps up toward the middle, up to the high lane, and then he cuts it back hard to the left. It certainly looks to be fast, but how much do you think he is abusing that right front tire, taking that pattern around here?
Well, Brody Hanna's not the points leader for nothing in that number 62 machine. He kind of knows what he's doing, and for me to give advice on a tire strategist call out there on the speedway, I don't know if I'm the best guy that's going to be able to save tires, but I tell you, Brody Hanna does look like he's maybe falling into the clutches of that number 16 machine. Now it looks like the 16 is able to pull up right to his rear bumper. That is Adam Edwards in that number 16 machine. Not able to do anything with Brody Hanna. Again, he's able to power off that corner. It's just an impressive amount of speed. The number 62 Bojangles sponsored machine.
Now I'm watching these lap times right now as we look at Royce Scrivano out in front in the 76 and his next challenger, A.J. Rogers, there in the 17. They're running nearly identical lap times, and to a race car driver, when you got a guy, when you're running second and you got the leader out there in front of you, maybe by 4 or 5 tenths of a second, and you just can't catch him, you're just running the same lap times as him, and you're doing everything you can, that can get really frustrating after a while. And a racetrack like this, patience is everything. So you can't get too overwhelmed by the fact that you're not making up ground, despite the fact you think that you're doing everything you can. So, this is a long race, and you got to be patient on these flat tracks. But so far, Royce Scrivano doing everything right.
He certainly is absolutely just everything right on the money there. Royce, as we said, was the winner of the first 3 races of the series. He gets 4 wins. 4 out of the 5 starts he has made this season. He has went to victory lane here. This is race number 8 of the season. So you think about that. 5 starts, 4 wins. That's an 800 hit batting percentage right there, Todd. So Royce Scrivano, if he's in the field, he's a guy to be reckoned with. And, he was on the pole, and through these opening 18 laps, he has set the pace, and Deems doesn't seem to be pressured at all by that 17 of A.J. Rogers. Royce seems to be very, very content with a really good handling race car out front.
Yeah, definitely got a good handling race car, does Royce Scrivano in that number 76 machine. As David was hitting on the lap times there, and they're almost identical, but it looks like the 17 of A.J. Rogers able to run just a little bit faster last time by, and then now this time by actually Royce Scrivano. So there goes my little hint that I thought maybe A.J. Rogers was going to be able to catch him just a little bit. He is here and there. But again, Scrivano able to rattle off another lap just a little bit faster than A.J. Rogers. Now looking back to the 3rd spot still, Adam Maddox in that 3rd spot. So the number 94 is running in 3rd. 4th right now is, I believe, it's going to be Adam Edwards getting around the number 62 machine of Brody Hanna. He's able to get around him. He's put himself into that 4th spot in the number 16 machine.
Yeah, I'm looking back at this pass actually for 4th place there. And looks like the 62 of Brody Hanna just sort of moved over going into turn 3 on that last lap and let Adam Edwards go. I think he was sick of watching him in his mirror and wanted to focus on his line there. But as I say that, look at how much the 17 of AJ Rogers has pulled up now to Roy Scrivano. He's cut that gap in half, and he's closing quickly. So they're coming up on a lap car here. Getting around that lap car is going to be important for both of these guys. That could play into maybe a change for the lead.
No, it certainly is, and that's Paul Strickland, the lap car up ahead. He may be holding up the progress of Roy Scrivano a little bit. You know, maybe not so much yet. It's about 3 or 4 car lengths between that lap car of Paul Strickland and our race leader. But as David eloquently said, it's brought A.J. Rogers right to the fray. Lap car of Strickland's going to drift up high. That's going to open the door for that number 17 car of A.J. Rogers, Todd. He's going to look for the race lead to the low side in turn 1.
Yeah, AJ Rogers down on the bottom side in that number 17 machine, trying to get around the 76. They are side by side here, coming off of turn number 2, down the back straight away. Who's going to have the advantage coming down here in the 3? Looks like the 76 is Scrivano, able to run the top pretty good. The 17 able to battle back down on the bottom side. They're still side by side. Gives Scrivano that lap once again in the number 76 machine. He's doing pretty good up on the top side, fending off the charges of AJ Rogers, but I'm not sure how much longer he can hold them off as they come down the back straight away once again into turn number 3, still side by side.
Boy, that is some great racing action right there, but you can only do that for so long as he has to squeeze out of the throttle. Scrivano does coming off of 4. He almost took down the wall there. You can't make that outside lane work when you're running like that. The inside lane has just such a huge advantage, and A.J. Rogers did a masterful job of pulling off that pass. He assumes the lead. The 94 of Adam Matox comes in. He's getting real anxious now looking at the 76, who's maybe making a play for second place, but put A.J. Rogers up to the point.
A.J. Rogers with the lead. As you said, Roy Scrivano's dropped back to second. Adam Maddox is pressuring Scrivano for that second spot now off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, looking at those beautiful billboards that make up the scenic here around the Stafford Motor Speedway. Now, different characteristic of this racetrack, something that makes it very unique and special here. You look down the straightaways, you look at the outside walls, well, those are all concrete normal walls, but you get into the corners here through turns number 1 and 2, and especially in the 3 and 4, it is Armco barrier. That is not concrete whatsoever. Those are all metal Armco barriers, and when you get into one of those things with the outside wall in one of these race cars, it's different than concrete, Todd. I'm not sure how much, you may have touched an Armco barrier with a race car before, but you get one of these fiberglass late models, any kind of contact with those, it can ruin those race cars in a hurry there, having that metal on metal cutting on through. It's not quite like the concrete would if you hit it.
Yeah, I'm going to say I have flirted with some of those barriers, sort of like that. They're almost like your road type of barriers, a little bit more sturdy than what they got, but they can slice you open like a can opener does to a can there, Phil. I know for a fact that it took my steel-bodied car and just took a can, just looked like a can opener to it out there on the racetrack on the dirt track. So I could just imagine what it does to one of these fiberglass cars.
And the next time we come to the Stafford Motor Speedway, just looking around, knowing the scenery of the place, having the background I do, if you look off the exit of turn number 2, they have a humongous movie theater type screen there. They put the live feeds of these races here. They put them on the big screen in turn 2 so the viewers can all watch and take a bird's eye view of the place. So, David Schildhaus, I think the next time we come to Stafford, knowing you and, the self-promoting machine that you are, maybe we could talk to the folks at Stafford and maybe get a big picture of that beautiful mug of yours out there the next time we come back to this beautiful half mile. What do you think?
Well, I know if anyone's been watching the Full Velocity Network lately, especially on Sunday nights when the FTF Cup Series is running, you'll see my face pop up at some of these racetracks that we've been going to. It's always a surprise to me when I'm going to a track here and I see my face off of, turn 3 or going into turn 1 at Dover or something. So, I know some, or even on pit stalls. We saw that too at Dover last night. So, I always enjoy having some fun with these things. And I know some people over at Stafford, kind of indirectly because of connections of people who know people who know people. But maybe they'd be open to the idea of, putting my face on there. I don't know why they would. That seems silly. But back to the racing action. We got a change for second place there a few laps ago. Adam Maddox got through, and now Roy Scrivano finds himself falling back to third. Maybe he ran a little too hard at the beginning there, Todd, of this run and wore his tires off.
Yeah, definitely probably ran just a little bit hard as you're starting to see him slip through. We're just looking at some of these guys like Roy Scrivano. Scrivano running a 19.847 last time by. Let's see what he gets this time by. 19.816 for Roy Scrivano. We're looking at the leaders like Adam Maddox. He's running a 19.670. And then you got A.J. Rogers, a 19.6. So, yeah, indeed, I believe I have to agree with you, David Schildhaus, that Bryce Cavano's messed up his tires quite a bit there, ran them a little too hard, hot and heavy early.
Well, I don't know if it's related to the fact that he's got that Philadelphia Eagles paint scheme, and they're known to start quick and fall off later in the season, so maybe there's something to that. But I don't want to disparage anybody's football team, but that's the way it goes in racing. You got to pace yourself, especially at a flat track. You really got to take care of your tires. And what I'm really going to be interested to see now is if the 94 of Adam Maddox can track down the 17 of Rogers here. It seems like he might be able to. We might have another chance for the lead coming up in the next 10 to 20 laps. Phil? You're a guy that's pretty good with tire saving and consumption, maybe more on the consumption side. At a flat track, what do you like to do to try and save that right front?
Well, I'm a guy who really conservative. I'll really get off the gas. I'm lifting, basically about 2/3 down the straightaway. A little bit of play on the brake pedal, not too hard, enough to set the nose. And at a place like Stafford, a flat racetrack, and which you guys probably have all the experience at, like a New Hampshire or Phoenix, if you will, you got to be just easy. Easy on the brake pedal, let off, let the car roll, and when that nose begins to bite, it is very tempting to throw it back on the loud pedal and put that power all the way back to the floor. But as Todd would know, getting on that loud pedal off the corner, you think you may go faster, but you can also heat your tires up pretty quickly doing something like that. So I know you're a guy who gets around a flat track like a New Hampshire well. I mean, am I right on that thinking, backing up that corner some and letting that car just ease and roll gently through these corners and picking it up to the throttle probably about 2/3 of the way through the corner?
And I'm backing up the corner. You're perfectly right, especially like a New Hampshire or something like that. I'm backing up the corner, rolling into the throttle and rolling out gently, and trying not to get onto it too fast off the corner, and being able to not spin my tires or do any kind of damage to those tires is I've learned to always back up my corners. I had that pounded into my head early in the sim racing community, and even in the dirt racing world out there, you really want to conserve your tires. You want to put a little heat into them dirt tires, but you don't want to put too much heat into them, enough where they glaze over. So that's something where you got to mind your P's and Q's even in dirt racing.
Well, you certainly do, and we're parading around the Stafford Motor Speedway 44 laps now of 175 that make up the steel cage 175, powered by Rent-A Racecar here tonight at Stafford. 10 drivers entered the paddock area tonight to take the green flag. 8 of them answered the bell when it was time to come race time, so 2 drivers had mechanical failure. Richard Dempsey and Ralph Jones unable to join the festivities tonight. So we have 8 drivers out on the racetrack. It is A.J. Rogers with the race lead. Adam Maddox, the 94, is currently second. Royce Scavano is third in the 76. Adam Edwards is fourth, and Brandon Elder rounds out your top 5. Point leader Brody Hanna, guys, he's dropped all the way back to 6th, 13.4 seconds off the rear, so he's not too far from going a lap down, as is the number 22 of Michael Blackner. Kind of puzzled to see a guy like him who was picking his way up on through. He's puzzled back now all the way back in 7th. He's also just about 14 seconds off the lead. These guys running, sub 19-second laps. They're going to fall by the way of the clutches of the leaders here real shortly. 4 laps down out on the racetrack, probably the victim of a couple of elbow drops and leg drops and whatever else, maybe a styles clash, who knows. It's Paul Strickland who was back there 4 laps down. A steel cage tonight's Todd Stanton probably feels more like a hell in a cell for our buddy Paul here tonight. 4 laps down. He's a guy who has a lot of experience here at Stafford, but it's a flat racetrack, and if you mess your night up early, like I think he did off the start, you could just ruin that night in a hurry. That makes for a really, really long night.
Indeed, I think he's in store for a long night, and that's he's out there having fun. Is Paul Strickland Jr. He's still having some kind of fun. Just running around the track itself and being in one of these cars and just having fun with in the camaraderie that you have in these leagues, and able just to talk to people. You're trying to have fun and have a blast out there on the speedway. Yeah, you might not be going that great, like Paul Strickland's right now is not going really good, but he's out there trying to have fun, log laps, and like you said, it's interesting to see him so many laps down at this specific track in itself.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes in sim racing. Sometimes, as a very wise sim racer once said to me, sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. Tonight, Paul Strickland is definitely the ball. But when he steps into that wrestling ring, as you alluded to earlier, Phil, he's definitely the bat. He brings the pain. He's dropping hammers. He's making people tap out. So, he likes to come out and sim race. He's been doing it a long time. I've raced against him, and Paul's a friend of mine. So it was nice to get the invitation to come out here and call this race. And he may not be out there competing tonight, but I know he's happy to have us come out and be a part of things here. We got a battle for the lead that's starting to heat up, I think. I think AJ Rogers might be falling off the pace a little bit. Adam Maddox is coming in here. He's catching him. It seems to be the 94 has the better handling car, Phil, right now.
Oh, he certainly seems to have a better handle. I'm hearing him picking up the throttle a lot sooner, which tells me, Todd, he's probably conserved some of those tires a little bit there. And, we know AJ Rogers, he rode around in that second spot, was able to pounce on Roy Scavano when he overran his tires. But now seeing the 17 starting to fall off the pace here a little bit, and that 94, by the way, they're conserving those and backing up the corners and now picking up that gas pedal a little bit sooner, able to arc it up through the middle of the corner, diving down to the low side. He's made some headway, and he's just looking for that running room down there, but that 94 clearly the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, the shoe's definitely on the other's foot here now. AJ Rogers able to, this time complete a lap of 19.985 with the guy in front of him, which was the guy behind him, AJ Maddox, 19.926. So he's indeed a little bit faster, but not too much faster. But he's right there being held up just a little bit. As now Maddox drives down to the bottom side. He's trying to get around the number 17 machine of AJ Rogers. AJ Rogers right now able to fend off the charges of the 94. But how patient is he going to be? Is the chrome horn going to come out here with these late models? Is now Maddox back down to the bottom side, not able to complete the pass. As you watch AJ Rogers in that number 17 machine, diamond the corner for all it's worth to try to stay down to the bottom and try to keep the bottom in those corners.
Well, it looks like the 94 of Maddox is able to roll the center better than the 17 is. He's able to sort of hug that white line around the bottom there and roll that center, which is really nice for a car if it can do that. And, as these two guys are battling for the lead, they look out their windshields and they see two other guys racing for position. Now, granted, they're about to put them a lap down, but they're still racing for position. So these are the things you got to keep an eye on. Not only do you have your own battle to worry about as they bypass the lap cars now, but you got other people's battles to worry about. In a track like this, somebody else's problem can quickly become your problem, Todd.
Yeah, definitely can, and things happen so quick out there. Right now, Brody Hanna going to be the next victim to follow a lap down with that number 17 of AJ Rogers. AJ Rogers all over the rear bumper of Brody Hanna, not able to do anything right now, but he's also got to watch his mirror for that number 94 machine, trying to keep him at bay. Brody Hanna moves up and out of the way. He's not going to try to hamper any of these guys up front here in 1 and 2, so we'll have to see. He's also battling for that position with Michael Blackner, so Blackner now all over the rear bumper. Those guys can continue to assault on each other, as the leaders 1 and 2, AJ Rogers and the Adam Maddox machine, the number 94 machine, continue their assault on each other also.
Yeah, that's racing going on behind the leaders for that 6th spot between Michael Blackner and Brody Hanna in the 54. And as a guy who, they've coined my view out there, anytime out there racing, the view from the back, and it's usually that way for a reason. I'm usually the guy tailing onto the field, have been put in that position where I have to surrender a spot to the leaders more times than not, and it's really, really deflating. I mean, a guy like David Schildhouse, you probably, not used to having those leaders having to pull up behind you, and you've got a position battle of your own out there. It's the most deflating feeling in the world there when you're racing tooth and nail back there trying to stay on the lead lap, but you also have position battle amongst yourself. And for a guy who probably doesn't have a lot of experience to it, you probably don't know what it's like, but from a guy like me who's usually back there having to race for all I can do and falling off the lead lap and maybe losing track position on that battle that I'm currently in, it just takes all the wind out of your sails.
Well, I think when you come and you do sim racing as a hobby, everyone goes into it with the expectation of performing well and the hope of winning. And, obviously there's varying skill levels and things that can lead to varying results. But, everyone I think wants to feel like, at least, that they have an opportunity to win anytime they try and do this. And when you go out and you put your all into it and you end up getting lapped, it is pretty deflating. And I've been fortunate enough that I haven't dealt with it too much, but I dealt with it last night in my league race, and it's been a long time since I've been lapped under green flag conditions, but it happened to me last night, and you just swallow that pill and you move on and you get the best that you can get. But these guys come out, they do the best they can, and you hope for the best result. But getting lapped is a part of racing. It happens in real life, and it happens even to the best guys sometimes in sim racing too. But this battle for the lead is just so good. I can't take my eyes away from it, even though there's other great battles on the racetrack right now, Todd. And it seems the 17 of Rogers is able to hold off Maddox for the time being, but yeah, I think to Phil's earlier point, does a chrome horn come out, and when do you use it?
Yeah, definitely a good battle going on up front, and Rogers seems to be picking it up just a little bit more in that number 17 machine, being just a little bit faster than say the number 94 as of right now. So we're gonna have to wait and see how this is gonna all unfold. As now it looks like the 94 is starting to drift up the track. That's Maddox, that number 94 machine. So maybe he's burned off his tires just a little bit in that number 94 machine. So now they're kind of equaled themselves out just a little bit between the 17 and the 94.
Yeah, they've equaled out, as you said, but looking out there, you see that car number 17 out there, and as David talked about before, it's good to have guys who know and teammates, and it's well documented. David, your Vass House Racing teammate Matt Vassar, well, his home track is the Stafford Motor Speedway. He's paraded that 17 around here, out here in one of these late model type of race cars, so it's got to be a feel-good moment for you to see that 17 out front, but he has a mirror full of that 94 of Adam Maddox. He is all over his back bumper. Couple of love taps through 3 and 4 of that last time, and 94 certainly faster. But as you guys keep questioning, what does that chrome horn come in? And you look at laps starting to click off. We have 70 on the board. We still got 100 laps to go. So was it too early to use that chrome horn?
From my perspective, you would hope that a field this small and these guys know each other that well. If you're faster than a guy and he sees it, he's not going to hold you up too much at this point in the race. But again, there hasn't been any indication that there's going to be a yellow either. And 94 makes his move to the inside now. Got a great run off of turn 2. He's going to throw it down to the inside here. They're side by side, but he's going to get that run off. 17 has no choice but to yield that position. Rogers is going to give up the lead there, put Adam Maddox out front. A move that was many, many laps in the making. But, you hope that guy gives you the courtesy if you're faster to let you go. And maybe you can battle it out later. I think you use the chrome horn maybe when there's, depending on the track, but maybe near the last 10 to 15% of the race. Todd, maybe you use it a little bit earlier. I don't know.
Probably 10 to 15 laps to go. It would be my best guesstimate is maybe not able just to move them up and out of the way just enough because that guy's not gonna at that point in the race. That guy's not going to give you an inch, and we're gonna have to see what happens with that number 94 here later on in the going. As these guys' tires are starting to wear, as they were running low 19 second laps, now they're running 20 flats. So that's just how fast these tires are starting to wear here on lap 74, getting ready to complete lap. I believe getting ready to complete lap number 75 here very shortly. So it's interesting to see how these guys have all played their different strategies. Who's better tire conserver right now? It's Adam Maddox in that number 94.
Oh, it certainly is. In the 17 of A.J. Rogers, about 3 laps to go off of turn number 2. You get a little bit out of the racing groove. He made contact with the outside wall, so tires definitely going away there aboard that number 17. But one guy we haven't talked to a lot here tonight is we've had Green Flag Racing through the first 75 laps, and not to be forgotten down there doing a wonderful job with the controls. That's our buddy Joe Allen. They may be spread out all over this racetrack, Joe, but through these first 75 laps, it's been some great racing, and these guys at FTSR, a home league of yours for a long time, they got to be doing you proud here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These guys have put on an awesome show. I'm sure with the time that you've spent out at Stafford and your years of being around the racing industry, Stafford, it's no slouch. You got to go out there and you got to wheel these things around there. It's not this easy track where it's not a Daytona or Talladega where you just go out there and you mat it and turn left and hope you get lucky. I mean, it takes some skill to come out here and do this, as does any short track and any type of racing that involves a lot of close quarter, battling between drivers. These guys have come out here and, they've shown us that, they're some of the best of the best. We got a lot of fast guys out here. I mean, Royce Scrivano has been a guy that has come out here, guys, and, he's really dominated the series, and we're seeing 2 guys in Maddox and Rogers that have come out here, and they've kind of surprised probably a lot of people. They've come out here and they've been very successful, and Royce has fallen off the lead by about 6 seconds now, which, I'm sure through this first pit stop that I'm sure these guys will probably have to make before the end of the race here, Royce is probably going to come in and throw the kitchen sink at it to try and get himself back up there. A guy that probably came in here as a crowd favorite.
Oh, absolutely right. A crowd favorite indeed. But we talked about that great battle for the lead here for a good 25 to 30 laps between Adam Maddox and A.J. Rogers. Well, that whole story has gone out the window. That the right front tire gone on the 17 off that outside wall. That's allowed Adam Maddox, the 94, Todd. He has driven away from his field, and he's pulled away now to a good 20 car lengths. He's got a full straightaway advantage as they work off of turn 2.
Yeah, he's got 2.166 seconds over AJ Rogers. So Maddox really lightning quick now and showing his strength here, tire conserving. And that number 94 machine, it's awesome to see some of this, some of the things that are going on. Now 2.4 seconds. Look how fast he's just going by the wayside, just putting some interval in between himself and the 17 of AJ Rogers. So you got Adam Edwards. He's running in that 3rd spot. Brandon Elder is running 4th. He's the last car on the lead lap is that number 51 machine.
Well, let's not lose sight of the fact that these guys got to make the setups that they're driving here. And, you know, it comes down to the setup. And it looks like the 94 Maddox definitely built himself the best long-run setup here. But you see now, there's some guys on new tires, like the 62 of Brody Hanna, the 76 of Royce Gravano. They're on new tires. They pitted, took their service. They got fresh rubber on their cars, and they are blowing by these guys like they're standing still. So that gives you the value, shows you what the value is of new rubber and new tires on this track, as the 94 slipping and sliding, and the guys that took service, they're just flat flying right now. So that's sort of the interesting thing, but I think that 94 has built up such a huge lead. All he has to do is just sort of cruise, not take down the wall, and he's going to be in good shape, Phil.
Yeah, and what's staggering about it, looking at the lap times coming, these guys on fresher tires, the last time around I saw Brody Hanna go out there and clock that was Royce Gravano rather, he went out there and turned to 18.768. Well, the leader is just basically at a 19-second flat, so that's 0.3 of a second. It may not seem like a lot, but when you're going out there at 19 seconds a lap there, Todd, that 0.3 of a second adds up quickly, and you know he is absolutely flying around this place.
Yeah, he's indeed flying out there. And you were talking 19 seconds a lap flat, but the Adam Maddox ran a 20-second flat lap. So how much time are you willing to lose out there on the speedway? You're looking at qualifying times, I do believe, Phil, and I've done that before quite a few times. But how long are you willing to stay out there? You're on them old tires, and I'm going to pose this question to David Schildhouse since he's always out front usually and playing some of these strategy games, but. David, how long are you going to stay out there on these old tires, seeing how fast these new tires are for these guys?
Well, you got to do your homework, and you got to understand what the difference in lap times is between new tires and the tires that you're on. And you got to sort of do a little bit of math to understand how big of a lead did I have over each guy, how much time am I giving up every lap that I stay out, and how many laps is this race? If you feel like you want to do this on a one-stop strategy, and I think that's the prevailing thought by all these guys, you want to do it on a one-stop strategy, you figure you get to a point where if the difference between new tires and old tires is a second, then you got a second to play with each lap. And if you got 10-second lead on a guy, and he pits, you got 10 laps that you're going to have to make up at that point when you come back out. It's, you got to do some equations, and there's a Pythagorean theorem in there somewhere, and A plus B equals C, or I don't know what. Or you just drive as hard as you want to and pit when you feel like you need to. But a lot of it comes down to feel. These guys know when their tires are done, and if they can't do it anymore, they know they're giving up time. It won't be long before Adam Maddox comes into the pits and gets the service. It's just, there's no reason for him not to. He knows he's getting passed by these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't in the next 10 laps.
You see these guys probably lost a full 2 laps under green flag conditions there, that being Brody Hanna, Michael Blackner, who also just flashed by our race leader, the number 94 there of Adam Maddox. That put them guys back to, I believe, 2 laps down. So they're chasing down that time. They probably lost an entire lap and a half under green, but clicking off over a full second a lap, as you talked about there, Todd, they're able to make time on the leader, and that may be a detriment there long-term for Adam Maddox. The flip side of that is the longer he stays out, the fresher his tires are going to be toward the end of this race when he finally comes in.
Yeah, and we still got a lot of laps left there, Phil, as we're on lap 94, getting ready to complete lap number 95, and right now Adam Maddox staying out. The guy that I've been watching is Scrivano in that 76 machine. He's lightning quick on new tires. We know all about him here early on in the event, so he's only 1 lap down. He has 4 fresh tires on that machine. He's made his lap back to Hardway, and they're going to go at least a lap and a half down when they go down the pit road, waiting for Adam Maddox to come down on pit road. And that number 94 machine, I know 17 of AJ Rogers just came down pit road, so he's going to be on fresh tires. So Adam Maddox was staying out there. He went by the pit road the last time by. He's going to go by it once again here and log another lap here, lap number 96.
Yeah, it's, I I feel like I go 50-50 when it comes to tire strategy and staying out. Sometimes I feel like I stay out too long and I give up time. Other times I try and get cute and short pit, and then I get caught out by a caution. Like last night, that happened to me. It's very, very infrequent that I short pit, and the one time I do, it doesn't work. So that's generally why I don't do it. So I kind of like what Adam Maddox is doing here. He's dictating this race. He is in full control here. He knew that he had a good 2-3 second lead over second place AJ Rogers before all this pitting started. I think he's confident enough in his car and in his setup that even if he's given up some time here, as you said, when he jumps back on the track after service, his tires will be new. He's going to blow by these guys. So I really like the 94 strategy here. I think it's the good one to play, Phil.
I think it's a pretty good strategy, but I'm liking the 76 of Royce Cavano. I think he's going to make up enough time here having those fresh tires. I mean, just kind of doing the quick math in my head there, Todd, of what he's gaining and what he may come out with here. This thing cycles on down. I think he may have a full lap advantage. Now, we see how much these fresher tires are paying off, but I mean, face it, 18, 19 seconds. I mean, I don't care what racetrack it is. It's still 18 or 19 seconds. And as we, now eclipse the 100 lap mark next time around, there's 75 laps to go. If this race is showing you anything, these laps are going off at a really, really fast clip. And, 19 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, definitely a long time. And another guy that's out there, AJ, number 17, AJ Rogers, he's out there. He's running 19.5s too. So it's going to be interesting to see. We got some pit action going down on the pit road.
I got the number 17, or was it 16, of Adam Edwards onto pit road. He's going to take a 4-tire pit stop for that machine, coming in and allowing himself to get those fresh tires. Just ahead of him is the number 51 of Brandon Elder. Brandon was up there running in that third position, so those guys were trailing, Adam Maddox, the only other 2 cars on the lead lap, but they've elected to come take those fresh tires, and those 2 drivers' work is done. They are down and away, and Todd, race leader, coming toward pit road.
Yeah, race leader Adam Maddox coming down to pit road, working his way down to pit road. He ran a 20.610 last time by. He must have decided it was time to come down and get service and get 4 fresh tires on his machine. And that number 94 comes to the aid of his pit crew. I couldn't agree. I would believe he'd get 4 fresh tires on that number 94 machine. Indeed, I believe the right side's going up here on the number 94, a little bit slower versus a NASCAR-style pit stop. 94 is complete on the right side, over to the left side, getting ready to jack up that machine. It's up in the air. Looks like they're going to put 2 more sticker tires on that number 94. He's down and away.
Good, clean stop, and that's exactly what he needed. It will be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the cars, but I think he's still going to have a pretty sizable lead here, Phil. I like the strategy call, but we'll see how it all plays out as he comes off pit road.
No, we certainly will. I'm just watching, where Royce Cavano is going to, check out and all this, as compared to Adam Maddox. And they're going to be, Royce is in turn number 3, Adam down the front, toward turn number 1. So Royce Cavano definitely going to have the race lead here as this thing all stretches out. We're going to see the interval next time by there, Todd. But last time around with Adam's exit lap, it was a 10-second interval. So not quite 19 seconds, now under 10 seconds. So not unattainable, but he's got 10 seconds to run down and 70 laps to do it. He's certainly going to have fresher tires.
Certainly going to have fresher tires is the 94 of Adam Maddox. Royce Cavano out there with a 9.44 second lead. This time by is 8.890. So Adam Maddox not letting him run away. He's actually reeling him in rather quickly here through the closing laps of this event. So we're on lap 106. We still got 69 more laps to go here around the Stafford Motor Speedway. So Adam Maddox has a good handle on his car right now in that number 94 machine. And the only thing that could solve an issue with him is maybe a quick yellow flag for Royce Cavano. But we'd like to see a clean and green race here on the Full Velocity Network. And right now, Adam Maddox 8.399 back.
Yeah, there's no better feeling as a race car driver when you're on the track and you're running second. Well, heck, any position on the track, if you're chasing somebody down, there's no better feeling than knowing you're reeling them in, especially at a really high rate of speed like Adam Maddox is. I mean, he's knocking off 4 or 5 tenths of a second a lap here over Royce Cavano. And that's just the difference in tires again, and that's the way the strategy plays out. Now, remember, before the pit stops and everything, Royce Cavano was, 10 seconds behind Adam Maddox. So it shouldn't be too surprising that he's going to run him down and pass him here pretty quickly in short order. it was a short-term play, hoping for a yellow to even things up. But the way this race has been going, Phil, they're not going to get that yellow, and it's only a matter of time. It's not if, but when Adam Maddox gets back to P1.
Well, we'll have to monitor that because it was 7.49 seconds last time around. This time by it was 7.36, so it only clipped off about a tenth of a second. That's very precious on a racetrack, but laps are starting to run out. 110 on the board now, 111, so triple ones are up there. We've got 160 or about 55 laps remaining here, trying to do the quick math in my head, but it's down to 7 seconds, Todd. It's not, impossible to run that interval down, but also keep in mind he's going to have lap cars between them. Adam Maddox and Roy Schiavano are out there, but there's a race for that 4th spot going on between Adam Edwards and Brandon Elder. Those guys are 1 lap down. They're racing to be that first car 1 lap down, and Adam Maddox with those fresh tires, not only is he going to have to chase our leader down, he's also going to have to navigate his way through lap traffic.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to navigate through lap traffic, so it's going to slow him up just a wee bit. But look at Roy Schiavano's last lap, 19.82 or 842 versus Adam Maddox, 19.536. So he's indeed faster. I believe the lap traffic is going to hold him up, but I don't think they're going to hold him up for that long. Like you said, there's a battle between Brandon Elder and the 16 of Adam Edwards there. That's a nice battle for that 4th spot between those guys. It's now about 4 or 5 car lengths between them, as Brandon Elder right now running inside the top 5. A little bit different story for Brandon Elder versus the last time here when he was on Full Velocity Network. He's actually out there running inside the top 5 in the number 51 machine and now able to hold on to that 5th spot.
Well, good races all over the racetrack here as Maddox continues to cut into the lead of Scrivano. It's down under 6 seconds now. AJ Rogers probably sitting about 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds back from Maddox. So they're both trying to catch up to the 76. I don't know. Maybe there'll be something real interesting that happens when they all catch each other. Maybe there'll be such a battle between the 94 and the 76 that allows Rogers to catch up. And we end up getting to a little menage a trois of racing here at Stafford Speedway, Phil.
Oh, I'm not even sure how to follow that one here, as we're just keeping an eye on our race leaders, of course. That is Roy Schiavano in that number 76. He's got the hungry number 94 of Adam Maddox on those fresher tires, trying to chase him down. It was 9 seconds when they came on a pit road. Last time by, it was 5.3 seconds. So that interval is closing there. And of course, as we documented, there's a good race going on between the 16 of Adam Edwards, the 51 of Brandon Elder. So we'll have to see how that's going to negotiate through traffic. But Todd Stanton, you've been my tag team partner for a long time, and that's well documented. Mr. David Schildhouse is new to us here, but David Schildhouse, I know you go back a long way with an old friend Paul Strickland, so it's the Steel Cage 175. I'm going to let you call up your tag team partner here, maybe tag him into the action. Why don't you give a shout out to our old friend Paul? So David, take it away. Say hello to our friend Paul Strickland.
Paul Strickland, this is David Schildhouse on the Full Velocity Network. Do you have a copy?
I copy loud and clear. Yeah, easier said than done, right? I hear you. Yes.
I appreciate that, Paul. I wish we were talking under better circumstances, like being in Victory Lane here at the Stafford Speedway, but unfortunately, it just didn't go your way tonight. Tell me, how did the race start for you, and what put you in the position that you were in to lead to an early exit from this event?
I mean, we really missed the setup at the start of the race. We pancaked the wall in lap 3 early on, and it kind of messed the handling up just a little bit, and from there it was just downhill. A lot of these guys started with 10, 11 gallons, and we tried to start with a full tank, and it really made the car real heavy in the back end of it, and it kind of tightened the car up. So completely missed the setup, and after one of the quick pit stops we had there, we hit the wall again, and the motor popped. So we're actually sitting on pit road trying to get some things fixed here, maybe get a couple more laps, but all in all, I think we're pretty much done.
That's unfortunate, my man. I hate to hear that for you. I know you're really looking forward to this event, and Stafford's a place that's near and dear to your heart. I know you've spent a lot of time there recently helping out the likes of Matt Vassar and his ventures there in the season finale. If I remember correctly, you guys started P1, brought it home maybe P3. A good run there for Matt and his car. Tell me about the season and the work that you've done there with Matt and the rest of those guys.
Yeah, Matt did an awesome job. He really closed the season out strong. He had 3 believe it was 3 top 2 finishes in the last 4 races, and then a 3rd place finish. The car's really, really good, and the driver's even better. The car, Matt's just real smooth all the time. He was following Tom Fern in the '92 late model in the heat race, and he was right on his bumper, and he just looked really good. Unfortunately, I missed a lot of the season this year up at Stafford because of work. I've been working a lot of hours to actually try and get myself a dare stock for next year, but we'll talk about that once we get closer to it. But Paul Verricchio had a pretty good season too in the 39 car. With a lot of help from Matt Vassar, they were able to really kind of tweak the car out a little bit and running much better than we were last year.
Yeah, I enjoyed to watch the progress that Matt made throughout the season. You know, many years ago when I lived in Georgia and he was still down there, I helped him with his super truck team, him and his brother Kevin and his dad Larry, and you know, spotted for Matt and helped with the car and got to watch him race in real life after racing with him for many years here in sim racing. He's a hell of a talent, a great driver, and just a wheelman all around. So I'm glad you've had fun with him. And we go a ways back, and it's always a lot of fun out there. So I'm glad that you are getting to experience it there. And I really hope that next year you get to live that opportunity up and get a race car of your own to take out there. But for now, stick to swinging that axe and being a lumberjack, all right?
You got that right. Got to go with what I know.
Well, Paul, I appreciate you coming up, spend some time here again. Wish it was under better circumstances. But we got a battle for the leads about to shape up here between Royce and Adam. What do you think? How do you see this thing playing out? Oh, well, Paul's gone. That's all right. I was going to ask him what he thought of this race coming up, but he had to go. But that's okay. I'm sure he was going to just real anxious to watch this thing come down to the wire here. Wanted to grab his spot back up and watch the race car get fixed and watch this battle take place. But Phil, I mean, Paul Strickland, what can you say? He's a character. And he fits this series perfectly, and he's great for sim racing as a whole.
Oh, he's a character indeed. He's great for sim racing. He's great, you know, as far as the interview goes. Just a very knowledgeable guy, been around for a long time, and really thrilled to have Paul Strickland here. As you said, wish it was under better circumstances. As you know, the number 6 car up in smoke, and you know, anytime we see the 6 car up in smoke, it makes us think of our buddy, the Jet, Joe Allen down there. So, Joe, I know you go back a long time, but Paul too, and it's got to make you shrivel up a little bit anytime you see the 6 number go up in smoke like that.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm going to have a chat with Paul after the race about his performance on that number 6. Usually when we go out there and we try to not have motor failures. Usually when it's me, I end up having transmission failures rather than motor failures. So I'm going to have to go down there and have a chat with Paul after this event's all said and done with and get to the bottom of what exactly happened underneath that 6 machine.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But, Todd, we talked about it here about 25, 30 laps ago. You know, Royce Scrivano with that different strategy with tires. You know, Adam Maddox came a little bit late. It was 9 seconds about 30 laps ago. It's down to 1.6. It might be 1.5 or lower next time they come back to the start-finish line. So he still has those 2 lap cars to navigate through, but it may be no time at all as we've got 40 laps to go in the event. We may see a race for the win here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, and Royce Carvano running a 19.971, and like you said, Maddox that's sitting back there in that number 94 machine, he ran a 19.7. So the best guys for the number 76 right now, Royce Carvano, besides himself trying to wheel it and trying to keep all these guys at bay, is those 2 lap cars, and it looks like Maddox going to be able to get around to 51. I believe I heard contact with the wall there by the 51 of Brandon Elder.
It was a little.
Oh, sorry, Phil, go ahead. That was a little bit of contact there with the 51 on the wall. I think he was just trying to give the 94 a lot of room there. But we got this lap car, the 16, fighting for his life. That's Adam Edwards trying to get back on the lead lap here. He's giving Royce Scrivano all he can handle. And I tell you, from behind the wheel, Royce Scrivano is probably screaming right now, come on, buddy, give me a break here. I'm the leader. You're trying to race me here. I got this guy coming up trying to take the lead away, and you're killing me. Phil, maybe not as much experience up front, but you do have some experience around, you know, cars, and you got to race for each spot. But when you're the 16 and you're trying to get back on the lead lap, I mean, well, now we see him give way, but how hard are you going to press that leader to get back on the lead lap?
Well, I mean, not to throw me under the bus there, run me over a couple of times, knowing I'm not racing for leads real much, but I've been in the 16 shoes a lot there. You know, you're out there trying to race your way back to the lead lap, you know. granted, if it's a lucky dog or not, if you're going to see a caution flag, you want to try to race your way to the lead lap the hard way. But you're Roy Scavano, as you said. You're probably screaming, dude, why are you racing me so hard? And and then you look in your mirror and he's giving way to the 94 of Adam Maddox, and that probably just makes your blood boil over just a little bit more, knowing that the 94's got fresher tires. And Todd, we talked about it. It was well near 10 seconds about 35 laps ago, and now wouldn't you know it's down the car lengths, a little bit of bumper tap. Adam Maddox is there, and he's looking for running room. We may see a change for the lead with 141 laps on the board.
Definitely something you don't want to see. Scrivano was completely sideways, like he was dirt tracking it around the corners, and number 76 able to hang on, but I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to that lead very long. Number 94, Maddox, able to complete that pass off of turn number 4. Maddox, your new leader.
I was interested to see how aggressive they were going to get, because I have a catchphrase that I really want to use tonight, but I don't think we're going to have the opportunity there. There's just no stopping the 94 right now. He's just too fast. I think Roy Scrivano realizes that. He's got a championship he's trying to win, and he's thinking big picture here, so he just lets him go, knowing he does not have the car to compete with him. And it was just going to create huge issues if he tried to. So they're back to the way we were before the pit stops took place, and it looks like the 94 is just setting sail.
Adam Maddox is setting sail, but he did make that little love tap in 3 and 4 there. It was like maybe 2 taps there to let him know, hey, Royce, I am here. I am faster. I am going to find my way around you. Now, in the back of your head, those little love taps there may have upset the car, and you saw the 76 did get a little bit loose there, so he may not have the fresher tires there, but knowing my buddy David Schildhouse, that the 76 was able to get back to a 94, well, that was an aggressive tap, and aggressive goes around. Ain't that right, Todd?
Yeah, indeed it does, and I don't believe he's going to be able to get back to him unless a late race caution comes out there, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Is now I'm watching the 51, Brandon Eller just trying to stay out of the way. That 17 machine also coming up pretty fast. That AJ Rogers, number 17, he's in the midst of a fight there. There's quite a big battle going on back there in the back of the pack here.
Well, I tell you, the fight is still for the second position behind the leader here. Is the 16 of Adam Edwards is still trying to work over the 76. Just to add insult to injury here, the 76 just lost the lead, and now he's got a lap car that's still harassing him as he's trying to keep his 76 car under control. He's sliding all over the place. Royce Scrivano giving a whale of a drive to that thing for all he can, but I tell you, it's not easy when you lose the lead and then another guy's trying to get past you and it's not even for position. That's just that'll send your night the wrong way. Even though you're sitting second place, you didn't come here to run second, so that's the way it goes. But I really like what the 94 is doing right now. He's driving it nice and straight off the corners. He's not loose. He's not pushing it, not melting the right front. Again, just doing everything right to win this race tonight, Phil.
Yeah, and that's the voices of the champ right there, a guy we've seen out that front windshield pulling away and getting a little bit smaller there. Is that 76 doing all he can? He may have to register the position there till the number 16 of Adam Edwards, as those two almost made contact. I mean, a 16 off the lead lap, as David said, but still out there running in that 4th spot, running a race with it himself. So they're having a good battle out there, Todd. Maybe not racing for position as far as in the standings, but, pride in position out there on the racetrack, and, maybe not be for that 2nd spot, but they're putting one hell of a race on.
Yeah, they're definitely putting on one whale of a race out there at Stafford Motor Speedway, and these guys fighting tooth and nail here throughout the field. You may be a lap down, but these guys some of these guys are just trying to fight with the guys that are on the lead lap, and it's interesting to see these guys, and they know each other. They've all been around each other time in and time again, and like we've seen last time here at the Full Velocity Network when we came here, Michael Blackner won this race, won a race, at Thompson, I believe it was. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe it was actually Bristol, not Thompson. I was just recently at Thompson Speedway, though, at NASCAR 2003. But Michael Blackner won in Bristol in that number 22 machine, late race pass around Bernie Hanna. And this time, the tides have turned. Michael Blackner right now in position number 7, the number 22 machine, a couple laps down here in that number 22 machine. So it's difficult to see some of these things, but 2 different tracks, high bank Bristol versus flat track here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
It's interesting. You talk about Stafford, and you talk about guys getting up to a back bumper and making a couple of taps. There's only one name that comes to mind when you think about those 2 things at this track and tapping the rear bumper, and that's Mr. Teddy Christopher, and we just lost him not that long ago. But he made that famous, the 3 taps and you're out rule. I mean, he got to your back bumper and he let you know you had 3 bumps from his front bumper before he was going to move you, and really sort of defined the way racing was done around here. It didn't come to that between the 94 and the 76, but when you come and run at this racetrack and you do that to a guy, you can't help but think about that. And I know we all still miss Teddy Christopher so much, and it's great to see these guys come out here and run like this here.
Oh, it certainly is. And just to pay my sentiments there to Teddy Christopher, I know I did a couple weeks ago, with his untimely passing, but, come to Stafford, Ted Christopher was the king of the Stafford Speedway. I believe he had 200 feature wins here, between the SK Modifieds and maybe in the late models, and even the Whalen Modified Tour. I believe he's won, I know he's won the victory in a couple of times there as well. Also, I believe back in the Busch North days, even as now the K&N East cars, I believe Teddy Christopher may have won the victory lane. So he was the king of Stafford. We're going to miss, the thrill from the Ville out there in Plainville, Connecticut, Teddy Christopher, and we pay tribute here to him here at Stafford tonight, just like the whole gang at the Stafford Motor Speedway for the fall final over the weekend did. It was a big celebration of Ted's life, having the 13 car out there and all his race teams. And looking down at Stafford, I'm sure he's smiling at this race tonight. Know he's got a lot of friends that are out here, especially the likes of Paul Strickland and whatnot. He goes back years with as well. So, we pay homage to Teddy Christopher, but look at that scoreboard there, David. 158 laps on the board. If you can believe it, caution-free. We're less than 20 laps to go here. We got a good old-fashioned look at their stock race here on a Friday night in Stafford.
I like what I'm looking. The names might be different than what you see if you actually go to the track out there on a Friday or Saturday night, but the action's just the same. They know how to put on one whale of a show, and these boys here are doing no different. It's fantastic to see them out here running hard, running clean, and just seeing, who has got the best setup and who the best driver is. That's what this is all about. When you're a guy like Adam Maddox who's come out and really shown your muscle, you walk away feeling real good about yourself. And if you're a guy that, come in and run okay but sort of fell off, you just have to head back to the drawing board and start over and say, well, where were we good? Where were we not so good? And how do we fix it? And that's really all you can take away from a race like this, Todd, is look at what the guys that did well did and try and mirror that.
Yeah, we're actually going to say, can I have your setup, please? I really want it. It's fantastic. It's great. I just want your setup. Give it to me so I don't have to spend so much time on it. But a lot of these guys, like you said, a lot of these guys are going to go back to the drawing board if we come back to Stafford Motor Speedway and see what's going to happen with some of these guys. But, they've put a lot of time and effort into these setups. A lot of these guys, it looks like the 51 of Brandon Elder hard into the outside wall, and then he's got smoke barreling out of that 51 machine. Oh, tough break for Brandon Elder.
Yeah, tough break for Brandon Elder. As you said, the 51 up in the outside wall. Believe that car's still under power, but definitely had run the right front off of those cars, and it's a flat racetrack, David. Sometimes you melt the bead off of these tires, and looks like for that, that Tracker Boats Bass Pro number 51 of Brandon Elder, his night, was having a solid run, competing for a top 5 finish. That's certainly going to hamper that night. That car up in heavy smoke and some, catastrophic damage to that right front.
I went back and I pulled up the replay of what happened to poor Brandon Elder. He actually ended up pulling a Martin Truex Jr. circa, 2007 at Richmond, and got up on 2 wheels down the front stretch. Somehow he got his right side tires up along the wall and rode the wall down the front stretch and just completely missed the whole turn and smashed into that concrete. So a tough break for the 51. He had a decent run going here tonight, but it's going to come to an end a few laps before the scheduled finish. He's going to go back and look at that and maybe feel a little bit sheepish about that one. But so far, it's still Adam Maddox well in control of this race. He's pulled out to a 7.5 second lead over Roy Scrivano. AJ Rogers really didn't come on as strong after that pit stop as I thought he would. Never made it back to that second position, as he's another 7 seconds back from Scrivano. So I think that's the way this thing's going to shake out here. 3 cars on the lead lap as we're coming to a little under 10 laps to go here.
Yeah, incredible the way these guys have clicked off laps tonight. 160 out on the board, so About 7 laps remaining in this thing at Stafford there, Todd. Maybe your first experience to the Stafford Motor Speedway, but you got to like the racing product, the way, these cars are all driving out there, the way you have to charge this racetrack. And these guys have tonight, at Full Throttle Sim Racing League, no surprise at all. They have put one fantastic race on, and caution free now with 169. We're going to have 5 laps remaining, if you can believe it, next time around.
Yeah, a handful of laps, 5 laps to go here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And Phil, this has been a fantastic race. It is my first venture out here. I've ran some Whelen Modified, SK Modifieds in the iRacing community out on this track. I did try a little bit earlier for these super late models. Got to spend a little bit of time on the setup, but it's a fun track. It's really racy, and it's right down my alleyway because I love these flat tracks. And it may not be dirt, it may not have the brown stuff on it like I'm accustomed to, but this could be one of my favorite tracks.
Well, we are clicking laps off here. Things are looking good for Adam Maddox. And boy, I'm telling you, when you're him, you're just stroking this thing around the track right now, trying to get to the finish. These boys have been racing for an hour straight. They took the green flag an hour ago with no brakes. And let me tell you, even in a sim race car, that is not an easy thing to do. You are tired at this point. So I'm sure these guys are happy to see this thing come to an end here as we have just a few more laps to go, Phil.
2 to go at the line. Full of number 94 car of Adam Maddox. He played those fresher tires there. He was the last one to come to pit road, and it has showed the way of just how crucial those fresh tires were here tonight at the legendary half-mile Stafford Motor Speedway, located in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, off of turn number 4. White flag's going to be in the air one more time around in the steel cage 175 presented by Racecar, and he looks poised there, Todd, as white silk in the air. Adam Maddox looking poised to go to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, Adam Maddox definitely poised to go to victory lane. Looks like he's going to receive that number 74, going to be able to pull that into victory, or 94, excuse me, going to be able to pull that into victory lane here momentarily. It's Royce Cavano right now having a good run, but a 9.394 seconds behind him. AJ Rogers another 17 seconds. So 3 cars left on the lead lap here at Stafford Motor Speedway. These guys, war of attrition, checkered flag is in the air. Adam Maddox going to take down the run. Royce Cavano finishing up second. Third, AJ Rogers and Adam Edwards, Brody Hanna, Michael Blackner, Brandon Elder, and Paul Strickland Jr. going to round out your field. 111 laps down for Paul Strickland Jr. So that shows you how early in this event he had those motor woes in that number 6 machine.
Yeah, and it was one fantastic race for these guys. Really, really proud of them. 175 laps at Stafford, guys. It is not an easy feat. It's a flat racetrack, and as David said, it's enough to wear you out. And at the end of the night, it's Adam Maddox going to victory lane aboard the 94. Royce Cavano going to roll home tonight in the 76. He was a guy who came into pit early. Royce will finish up tonight in that second spot. AJ Rogers, as you said, third, and we'll try to move on to our post-race show, see if we maybe can't talk to all the drivers if they've been able to join us here tonight. I do not see the AJ Rogers car, but I do think we do see the number 16 of Adam Edwards is in here. So let's see if we can't make him our third interview here tonight. He's got a good, strong top 4 finish, and we'll put a period on that for 1 second.
We'll pick it up here in just a sec, but a great run here. You look at the standings and you see a guy win by 10 seconds. You say, well, that wasn't a very good race. I beg to differ, not so fast. The guy comes out and you have all the passing. We had 3 or 4 great passes for the lead. We had different guys up front throughout this race, and in the end, it was Adam Maddox who had the winning combination of setup and pace to outlast all these guys. And you got to give credit to Royce Cavano for fighting back to get to second after it looked like he lost that to AJ Rogers before all the pit stops took place. So don't let the standings fool you. This was a fantastic event, and these guys should all be very, very proud of themselves, Todd.
Yeah, definitely got to be proud of themselves out there on the track here tonight. And green flag all the way, green to checkered, and that's our very first here on the Full Velocity Network. We've had yellow flags a couple of times in the past, but we've had a pretty good trail record as of late. Green to checkered here tonight in the Steel Cage Racing 175, powered by Racecar here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. What a fantastic race! Just waiting on to get down here to some of these drivers and interview some of these drivers that have finished out inside the top 3 here.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we don't have our third place finisher, AJ Rodders, to able to get communication, but we'll get fourth place driver, Adam Edwards. And I think he's got a pretty good tale to tell there of being that first driver one lap down and, had a good run of it. But Todd, I believe you may have caught up with the driver of the 16, Adam Edwards, who brought it home fourth. So let's throw it down to you, Todd.
Yeah, indeed. I've caught up with Adam Edwards. Had a run down here to catch up with Adam Edwards, finishing up fourth here this evening. Adam, you had a good run going. Green to checkered. First time here on the Full Velocity Network to have any of our leagues go green to checkered. Got to be proud of that. And a fourth place finish, nothing to hang your head about there tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot complain. I just wish we had maybe another 25 laps or so and another pit stop, and I might have had something for those guys. Got stuck a lap down, and it kind of got me.
Well, strategy seemed to be everybody was on different strategies here all evening long. Some short pitted, some waited out there a long time. Like our winner here tonight, this evening, was out there. I believe he finally pitted on lap 103, maybe if my recollection is correct. You pitted a little earlier here in the going before he did. Tell us about the strategy. How was the tire wear out there at Stafford Motor Speedway?
Tire wear for me wasn't too bad. I had a really good long run setup, and I basically just ran the tires off of it, went till I couldn't go anymore, and came in and got tires. And that was basically the goal from the get-go, is run it as long as I can and then get those fresh Goodyears.
Oh, Adam, again, congratulations on your fourth place finish here tonight. It was a really great race out there. Like I said, green to checkered. I'm fascinated with this iRacing community and everything that's been going on. We've been over here. This is our second time over here at Full Throttle Sim Racing, and you guys have put on a whale of a show both times here. I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. Thank whoever we'd like to thank here this evening.
Oh, man, I got to thank my sponsors, KTM. I got to thank Brody Hanna for putting everything on, and I got to thank you guys for coming out and broadcasting this show for us so everybody at home can get a taste of green flag action from beginning to end.
Again, congratulations on your fourth place finish here tonight, Adam. Hopefully, we'll see you again. We are here back here next Monday night, so hopefully we'll see you here again on a podium finish, and good race here tonight, Adam.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Again, finishing up fourth tonight, driver number 16, that's Adam Edwards. I'm going to throw it down to Phil, I believe Phil, who is caught up with our second place finisher here this evening.
I've caught up with Royce Scavano, the driver of that number 76. And Royce, you came in to take tires there early on. You were able to get out to that big 10-second advantage, but how much were that tire wear critical tonight that holding these guys back in traffic and, knowing that 94 was pretty fast on that long run?
Hey, Phil, it's a pleasure to talk with you guys. Let me tell you, the pit stop that I did early on, that was my Hail Mary. That was the only chance I had to move out of my third position that I was running at the time. And tire wear was definitely key, but I'll tell you what, the 94 and the 17 were definitely, right up there as well. And they had some great setups in their cars, but great competitors that were out there total. Everybody gave each other plenty of room, but it was definitely a good and exciting race, and I'm still sweating.
Oh, we're sweating indeed. You guys really put on one hell of a show out there. 175 laps of green flag racing, not one caution flag, a caution-free race. Stafford's a workout. I mean, it's a flat racetrack. You really have to maneuver and muscle these race cars around. And, having the break of no caution flags for our guys out there who may not, know the challenge of Stafford, know the flat track mentality, how challenging it out there is it mentally and physically here doing 175 laps green flag?
Yeah, that's a great point. Mentally, it's pretty difficult because you got to make sure to keep the car under you, and especially midway through the run or so. For the second half of the run, I would start getting lazy and kind of space out a little bit, and all of a sudden the back end would swing around every exit. So you got to correct your mind and kind of focus on your braking points and your gas points as well. And takes a lot of effort, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what, the last 50 laps couldn't go by fast enough.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's the sixth start of the season you made in the series. You're going to runner-up finish here tonight, but you have 4 victories on the year. So 4 out of 6, that's nothing to shake a stick at. I'm sure you're really proud of that run. And, I hope we're going to see you back here at Richmond next week to go back at it one more time. But while we have you up here for the first time, Royce, really good to talk to you. We followed you guys at, the Full Throttle Sim Racing League for a while. Your name has definitely been prevalent, in victory lane many a time. So for the first time, Give a shout out to all your friends, your fans, your sponsors, or anybody out there who may be watching here tonight.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I was talking with the 94 for most of the race. Him and I are pretty close, and we're in a couple leagues together, so we know each other's habits pretty well. But I just want to thank you guys for putting this on. It's pretty darn cool to be able to watch the race afterwards from high above and be able to kind of brag to friends and family that you get to do this kind of thing and have people talk some good things about you. So I want to thank you guys and Brody for setting up the league and inviting us. It's always good to be a part of a good league that shares what's most important, and it's having a good time.
Well, I could not agree more. Well, Roy Scavano, great to talk to you there, buddy. And hopefully we'll see you again here next week at Richmond. You got a high winning percentage here, and Richmond's a really high-speed, fast racetrack. So I'm assuming that 76, if you're here next week, it's going to be quite the rocket ship. We'll have some fun.
Thanks, man. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, Phil.
All right, Roy Scavano going to bring the 76 home tonight. Second place. That's a great run there. But guy who had the best run of the night there has found his way down to victory lane here at the famous Stafford Motor Speedway. And that, of course, is Adam Maddox. And I believe he's down there trackside with our buddy Joe Allen. So take it away, Joe.
Yes, sir, guys. Down here in Stafford Victory Lane with Adam Maddox. Adam, first time we've seen you here on the Full Velocity Network, our second trip over to the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. And, it looks like from early on in the race, we thought it was going to be the Roy Scavano show once again, as it has been 3 or 4 times so far this year. But you kind of came out here and spoiled the party. You took the lead right around halfway, or just before halfway, I should say, and you kind of set sail from there. And, the right pitch strategy, the right tire strategy, and you just set sail from there, and you got your first win here on the network. Tell us about your night, bud.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to Full Throttle Sim Racing. Great series they're putting on here, but I got this car really hooked up the past 2 weeks for the long run, and just having to be patient and know that Royce got out there, and then AJ got out there, and I just had to have faith that the car was going to come to me. And after about 35 laps, this car really came to life. An incredible rotation on throttle.
Yeah, it looked like you were on rails out there around the racetrack, and you said it best. What we were anticipating is you definitely had the long run car, and you really just had to trust the setup and trust the stuff that you had underneath you. Especially, how nervous were you when Royce came down a little bit early and got himself out to about a 10-second gap on you after your one and only pit stop of the event? Were you nervous of a potential caution coming out, or did you kind of trust the process and know that in due time your tires would come back to you as his started to fade and you would eventually get back to him and make that winning pass with about 20 laps to go?
Yeah, definitely had some nerves there. The car did what I thought it was going to do. I knew with the fresh tires we were going to take some chunks out, but when we got about to 4 seconds gap, that's when my car is not the greatest, about 25 laps into a run. But after that, I was really able to run them down. It was just praying for no caution. I knew if I could go green the rest of the way, which plans don't always go as you want, but I knew if it would stay green that we would have this one, and just incredibly lucky, and it just shows the skill of the racers in this league that we can run 175 laps at that track and come away with no caution.
Absolutely. Stafford definitely not a slouch. You got to go out there and wheel your way around it. And short track racing in general, it's no easy task to go out there and to do 175 laps, yellow free in a completely green race. That's very impressive and a testament to all you guys out there on the racetrack. So congratulations on that. First time here on the Full Velocity Network. First time winner down here in Victory Lane. A little tradition we do here, Adam. I'm going to give you the mic. If you have anybody you want to shout out to, any sponsors, any friends, family that may watch this back or may be watching it live right now, the floor is all yours, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, I want to thank my good buddy Roy Scavano, racing me clean there, and AJ racing clean. Thank the guys here at the league. If you're not in it, you're missing out. But make sure you're a clean driver. That's what we want to be racing here. I want to thank my teammates over at SRST, helping me get the car set up. Just a great bunch of guys out there. David Knowles, Jerry Stone. Thank you to those guys. Thanks to one of my backers here is Treadwear. Thanks to those guys on all they've done. And if you have a muscle car or a cool car and you don't want naked tires, be sure to check those guys out. Treadwear.com.
Alrighty, guys. Well, Adam, once again, congratulations from all of us here at the Full Velocity Network on taking down your win tonight. It was a very impressive run, class of the field after about 75 laps or so when you took the lead. So a very well-earned and well-congratulated victory out there tonight.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it. Look forward to watching it.
Absolutely. All right, Phil. That's me down here in Victory Lane with our winner tonight, Adam Maddox. Very big congratulations to him. I'm sure we'll see him again next week on Monday night when we come back over here for the double points night finale. And who knows, maybe we'll see some new faces at the Talladega Speedway in a couple weeks as well.
No, absolutely. Can't wait to come back and see Brody and Paul and all the guys over here at Full Throttle Sim Racing League. A great bunch of guys. Yeah, the field may not be humongous, but they put on one fantastic race tonight from the Stafford Motor Speedway, the flat half mile. But think about it, guys. 1 week from tonight, we go to the action track in Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond International Raceway for championship night. Brody Hanna, I believe, with the 6th place finish tonight, is going to come in with a point lead. We'll have to update that later on for next week as we go to championship night, but it's double points night on the short track, Todd Stanton, something you're very, very familiar with. And anytime you throw double points and championships and you bring an action track like Richmond into it, these super late models are going to be an awful lot of fun to watch next week.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be an awful lot of fun there at the Richmond International Raceway. You're going to have to see what's going to happen, who's going to bring home the championship. It's the super late models and these guys over here at FTSR have put on a fantastic showing each time they've been on a Full Velocity Network, and I'm looking forward to it next week.
Oh, I am as well. I know Todd's about to sign off, and he's going to make a trip to the Williams Grove Speedway to go racing on some dirt. So we'll wish our broadcast partner Todd Stanton to do and hope he can bring one home in Victory Lane here later tonight. So we'll let Todd go get up on there the dirt. But next broadcast for us here, well, it's 6 nights from now. We go back over to FTF. The FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs going on. We've advanced on to the UFI Round of 12 on Sunday night, and we go to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, of course, 2 weeks ago, our broadcast partner David Sheldhouse went to Victory Lane. What do you think we can expect to see here come Sunday night at Charlotte?
You're going to see 12 very hungry drivers wanting to get themselves in a good position by winning the first race in this next segment like I did at Chicagoland. Because let me tell you, the 2 races after that, I was pretty much stress-free and worry-free, and that's a good way to go through life. So I think they saw what I was able to enjoy, not having the stress of elimination on your mind with that automatic transfer because of the win. So you're going to see 12 guys fighting hard to do that. Charlotte's a fast track, but you got to mind your P's and Q's, and there's always the possibility of a big wreck there because it is pretty narrow despite the high speed. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we got. Hopefully we can roll out a good package there that provides good multi-groove racing and the ability to pass one another without too much problem and put on a good show for everybody.
Well, it's going to be great here. You know, we get the best of iRacing here tonight. We get the best of the best as far as NR 2003. We'd love to showcase everything you got out there, sim racing. If you're doing it, we would love to showcase it. Head over to our website, book your date now at fullvelocitynetwork.com, and we'd love to bring all of us over there and have one hell of a time like we did here tonight. So until next weekend, we're going to sign off for the night. For Joe Allen down at the controls, doing an awesome job as always. Todd Stanton, David Sheldhouse alongside. I mean, I can't ask for a better booth than this. You guys are by far the best of the best. My name is Phil Lacasse. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of the ultimate esport experience, the new revolution of online broadcasting right here live on the Full Velocity Network. We'll see you next time, and good night.